Okay, so we're going to talk a little more about the same song. So what I have is we originally talked about an arrangement in the new key using that music box style, which is all well and good and fine. But I also thought that you should have the just the chord type arrangement on it, and we're going to use that to discuss the idea of filling in between the melody notes, which is what we like to do on arrangements. Um, so what I have on the tab is you'll notice the numbers in parentheses, and what those numbers represent, they represent the beats where there is no melody, so those are opportunities to fill. So if we look at this as being a song in the key, in the time signature of 4/4, and there being 4 beats to each measure, in the first measure, for example, we have the pickup note, that first number 3, then we get to the chord, that's beat number 1, then we have nothing on beat number 2, and then we have 3, 4. Okay, that's why this song kind of works well for demonstrating what we're going to do here, because everything basically just falls on the beat. So what you want to do first is just go ahead and play through it without any sort of attention given to the notes to the beats in parentheses. So we'll just go through it quickly. So we have the pickup note, which would be beat number 4. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You could even say the 2, and there's nothing on 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so on and so forth. We get to the second line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now on that E minor there, I'm grabbing all 3 of those 2s with my thumb. If you find that a little too much, you can actually just grab the bottom 2. That makes it an E minor 7. It's not terrible there. We get to line 3, the A7 chord, D, A minor 7, and then D. Now on line 4, we're back to a G chord. If you want, you can, I don't think it makes a huge difference, but based on what's happening in the 4th beat of that measure, if you wanted to try to grab the low G, the 5th fret with your pinky, and the reason I'm saying that is that sort of frees up the middle finger to get the 2 on the A string. So when you play the 4th beat in that measure, I would use the ring finger on the 2, then we got open, 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 and then 2 with the pinky. And the reason I would use 2 there is because then you just slide up into the C chord in the next measure. So that would be played 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now from that C chord, we go up to the A chord, and once again, it's the same shape. We have the C chord shaped like this, and we just slide it up and play our A chord with that little half bar here on the upper 2 strings. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring the pinky down. 1, 2, slide. And then what I have there is I have 4, nothing, 3. So I'm kind of kicking out the G string with my, then we're back to the G chord, to a C chord, D7, D suspended, back to G. Okay, so normally I'm using that ring finger, and you can use it all the time. I just suggested on the first measure of line 4 that because you're going to go to this, it's certainly possible either way. Just a thought, I'm not even sure I would do it myself with the pinky, but if for some reason it helps make the transition a little easier, you can try it that way. So let me play it from the top again. So we have, I'll just play it now and I'll count the beats in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so now the question is the beats in parentheses. So if you look at that as an entire beat, what we want to do is we want to use that as an opportunity to fill. And since we're playing, full chord arrangement here, it's just really a matter of picking a note in the chord, giving it a little less emphasis. 1, 2. So there I picked the open D string, which is once again just a note in the chord. I'm not refingering anything to fill in that beat. Okay? It could be that string, it could be the G string. And then we have our 2 melody notes. Fail. Once again, I just picked the D string there on that beat number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Once again on 2 and 3, I just 2, 3, and then we get back to the melody. E minor. Once again, just picking a note in the chord. Once again, just picking a note in the chord. Picking a note. Picking a note. 2, 3. Picking 2 notes in the chord. Then I get back to the melody. Pick a note. Picking a note. Okay, now because those represent, in this particular case, an entire beat, you could play, instead of just playing a single note as a quarter note, you could play 2 notes as eighth notes. So you could play that as 1, 2, and, instead of just 2, like this. 1, 2, and. 2 and. 2 and. parentheses the two beats number 2 and 3, I played 2 and 3 and. Played 4 notes, or you could play 2 and 3. So let me play from the beginning, and I'm going to use eighth note fills instead of just quarter note fills. And once again, I'm just picking random strings on the that are already just sitting there in the chord. The only notes you really want to avoid is just playing the melody note again, because that kind of disguises the melody. I'm picking notes other than what the melody note is. Okay, so we're just filling the space in. Once again, give the filling notes, the notes that you're using to fill, a little less emphasis. So what things to consider while you're doing this? First of all, I want to go down to line 4, second measure. We're on that C chord. So we have those 2 open strings. So use them to get, you know, the old guitar player thing, we use open strings to get where we want to go. So you can start moving up to that A chord. Right? So the other thing that, for your consideration is, depending on how you personally, how difficult it is for you to get from one chord to another in the arrangement, that may be how you determine how to handle the fill. Because obviously if you use eighth note fills, you have less time to get to the next melody note or chord. So for example, if you find that it's tricky to get, I'm going to look at 1, 2, 3, 4, line 5, okay? So line 5, second measure, where we have the G chord there, then we have the beat number 2, and then that's going to be followed by the C chord. So if that's a little tricky to get from the G to the C, then just use a single note fill. It gives you more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, instead of 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I'm not saying that it's difficult. I'm just saying it's a principle that you want to keep in mind, because what you're doing here when you're filling in on those beats is entirely up to you. You can use the quarter note, you can use the eighth note, you can use a combination of both. Let me play through it a couple of times, and I'm just going to do it random. Sometimes on the beats in parentheses, I'm going to use a quarter note. Sometimes I'm going to use eighth notes. Really doesn't matter. That's the point I want to make. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, hope as you were following along, you could see on the parentheses, the beats in parentheses, sometimes I did an eighth note, a two and, sometimes I simply just did a two. That's the beauty of it, is there's really no requirement here, okay, on what you play. You're just filling the space and trying to make the arrangement a little bit more interesting. So for the sake of a play along, what I'm going to do, and then of course this would go into the chorus, and you could use the chorus that we did last week. Where we did that thing with the little droning sound there, so you could just go right into that. It is well with my soul. So let me do I'm going to do two play-alongs. I'm going to do a play-along without any fill, and I'm going to go right back and do it again, and I'm going to fill in where the notes in parentheses are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now with fill, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. To the chorus. It is and that's from last week. Okay, so this gives you the ability to play the song in both keys, either using the music box style or using this style. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful, and hopefully you can put this all together. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Now I'm going to go see and hope if I can get this video to load and send it to you. Bye-bye.